Because I believe he's going Western Conference and staying in the Western Conference, and he's going from a dominant franchise over the last 20 years compared to a dominant franchise over the last 40 years. I don't see the balance of power switching in the West. LeBron has decided to come to the West, so the power is still in the West. No, I don't believe Kawhi changing because I believe there's only one destination. That's Los Angeles, that being with the Clippers or being with the Lakers. So I don't see a huge change in power from Eastern Conference to Western Conference because LeBron, they were only really viable threat in the East without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, the young Philadelphia team. So, no, to me, it doesn't change the power structure that currently exists in the NBA.
These conversations are so hard because of the Warriors, right? So, like, the Warriors make it feel like doesn't really matter what teams do as long as they are doing what they're doing. And, by the way, adding Boogie Cousins this offseason. But even though we all believe that Kawhi Leonard is eventually going to be a player for one of the Los Angeles teams, if he were to be traded out east, it would have dramatic shifts to me on the balance of power. If Boston were to just say, you know what, screw it. We're going to go all out against Golden State this year. Maybe Boston thinks, you know what, Boogie made them worse. They're going to be worse defensively, not going to be better offensively. He's going to be a locker room distraction. They can get got right now. That Kawhi added to Boston gives Golden State the closest competition. I think they would be a better team than Houston was last year, and Houston took them 7 games. If Kawhi goes to Philly, now I already think Philly next year will end up being the best team in the East, but if Kawhi goes to Philly, they are clearly next year the best team in the Eastern Conference. I feel the same way if we talked about the Toronto thing earlier, as pie in the sky as that is. Listen, Kawhi Leonard is a franchise-altering player, and so I don't think it's fair to always do the can they beat Golden State because we don't know that anyone can beat Golden State. We don't know that anyone in the history of basketball would beat this Golden State team. But could he change the hierarchy? The only place that he would go this year that's on the possibilities that I think wouldn't cause ripple effects in the NBA is if he went to the Clippers. Because I just don't think the Clippers have enough talent to make them anything interesting. Could he make them a playoff team? Sure. But I don't think to do any real damage.
Do you really believe that going anywhere in the East will shift anything or change anything with how stacked and how powerful the West is? And not even to mention the Golden State Warriors?
Well, you only got to beat
Boston
one team
and Philadelphia, those two teams, absolutely. Man, Golden State wouldn't want to see that. They wouldn't want to see Kawhi because none of those other teams have an answer for KD. Boston and Gordon Hayward's no answer for KD. KD gonna shoot right over top of his little moose thing he's got, no matter what kind of hairstyle he got going next year. Flip over, part, whatever. He's got a great hairstyle. It's no fun.
Nice hair. He's got great hair. Yeah.
No. But let me tell you, KD's gonna shoot right over the top.
Over the top.
Basketball fans know the impact of Kawhi. And if he was able to join those teams, it would change things. But Kawhi, in meeting with Pop gave him every indication that he was going to trade him and he was going to try to make Kawhi happy. I never said that before because I was holding it till now. So all these discussions about Kawhi going to the East, I believe Popovich is trying to accommodate Kawhi and trying to please him.
But that is listen, that's very noteworthy and newsworthy because a lot of people have said that initially the Spurs were like, we're going to trade him anywhere but the West Coast. We're going to trade him anywhere but the Western
Because logical
Conference.
thinking is, why would the Spurs want to help Kawhi out when he doesn't want to play there anymore? So why would we give in to what he wants?
Because if you do help him, you're going to fetch the best of talent and picks. All right? Because why would Philadelphia and Boston give him 2 starters and 2 picks? Why? When he's only going to be there for 1 year if he shows up. You can't guarantee me Kawhi is going to show up at your facility. If you Boston, you Philadelphia, and you trade for him today.
I was going to say, if you know that he's going to the Lakers and he wants to play with the Lakers, what incentive do the Lakers have to give up a ton
an extra year?
To
an
get
extra
him.
year with him. And
get him now with LeBron. LeBron's going to be 1 year older next year.
And because the Lakers don't know he's going there. The Lakers know that in a year he wants to be in Los Angeles, but they do have the additional team in the market. But the point that, because you hadn't said that on TV, but you and I had talked about this, C, that Pop was, from your understanding, very judicious with his words. Listen, I am going to try to accommodate your request. But it cannot be at the expense of the Spurs.
No.
And so
I got a job to do.
I got a job to do.
And the number one thing is
Go ahead.
make sure that I replenish the talent and leave this franchise that they are going in the right direction. That's my responsibility to San Antonio Spurs.
So the point that I'm making is we know the Clippers don't have the assets. If the Lakers are stubborn, if the Lakers just flatly say, we are not including Brandon Ingram in any trade, we think he is an all-star, we think he's going to be an all-star quickly, we would rather sacrifice a year without Kawhi to keep him and then get Kawhi on the back end, if that happens, then the East Coast is available. Because then the best option, the best trade might come from Philadelphia, might come from Boston. Now, those teams reportedly recently, Boston was not even including Jaylen Brown. Philadelphia was not even including Markelle Fultz. If things change, we have to be open to the possibilities that next year, I feel like I'm only confident there's one place Kawhi Leonard will not play basketball next year. That's San Antonio. Everything else is at least theoretically still possible. And would that change the balance of power? Of course. It would take the Spurs out of any type of contention, and almost any team he goes to me, it would make them contenders within their conference, and if it's the right team, a theoretical threat to Golden State.
Can't believe you think he's going to Toronto. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Hot
I said.
takes.